Good evening. I guess I should take off my glasses, seeing that I'm not reading. I want to say hello to Stinky with his stupid tongue. All right, this is going to be a longer story because I have to tell it all. It's like in three sections. I got in a fight in the Marines on ship, and then I was flown off the ship to go to a hospital in Balboa Hospital in San Diego. Met this villain surgeon who was just a total douche. And during my week stay at that Balboa Hospital, these three Navy guys were harassing me. This guy Roscoe saved me, which is rare. And then all this, I was trying to get home for Thanksgiving. So, anyways, it started this way. I gotta put this phone here. All right. So, it's in the Marine Corps. It's like 1986, 87. Whatever, 86, 87. So I'm on the USS Peleliu off the coast of California. We're practicing war games so we can go overseas to do a Westpac. So while you're on ship, you have to do certain duties, and one of my duties were to work in the chow hall or the galley and washing dishes. And what happens is, people eat. They have the trays of silverware. They put them in a little slot. We grab the tray, hit it on the trash can, spray it down. The silverware, throw it in the dishwasher with the cups. Typical whatever. So it was me and a few Marines and a couple of Navy guys in there. And now these are long days. These are like 12 to 14-hour days that were in there, and it was actually kind of fun, just whatever. Well, I had one conversation. We were always talking about fighting, and I mentioned I knew a little self defense or whatever. Well, there was this sailor, and he was funny, but he was a pain in the ass, and he tried to like squirt us with a sprayer or whatever. And so I thought he went outside and around, and I thought he was going to poke his head through the slot, so I sprayed. And it wasn't a sailor. It was this other Marine. He comes running in. Bullshit. Who squirted me? This and that. Well, I apologize. And he punched me out. He punched me out. And before you know it, I'm on the floor. I mean, this guy really, cleaned my clock. And one of the Marines looked at me. He goes, "I thought you said you knew karate." So I get up and I look in the sink, and there was a sponge. That water, all that gunky water. And I took the sponge and I go to the Marine. I go, "Hey!" And he turned. I took the sponge and I threw it, and it hit him in the mouth. All that gunk water went in his face. So I ran over. Wham! Wham! Wham, right here, and that was it. Lights out, knocked out. So the sergeants came over, this and that, and I guess he wasn't really well liked, this Marine. But anyways, I didn't get in trouble because it was self-defense or whatever. Didn't matter. A few hours later, my stomach, the pain, and I mean, it was horrific. Not knowing that I was on my way to appendicitis. Before the guy punched me out, he threw me in the machinery, and the machine caught me right in my gut. So later on that night, this sailor comes over, which I was, made friends with, nice guy, and he goes, "Oh, you want to get a snack?" And I was like, "I don't know, my stomach." He goes, "Oh, don't worry about it, I'll pay for you." So we're in an aircraft carrier. We're in the center of the ship. This idiot not only gets me to go up to the deck, the flight deck, then we have to climb the tower. I mean, I'm in pain. So he buys me a Coke and a Snickers bar, and I'm like, I'm still hurting. I'm going to go to bed. So I go to bed, 2 o'clock in the morning. The pain was unbelievable. I stumbled to the medic. Well, it was the corpsman, like a nurse. And he tells me to go back to my rack that I'm seasick. I'm like, the fucking ship's not even moving, so how the fuck am I seasick? So anyways, I try to go back and I collapsed. Before you know it, I'm being flown off the ship. I have appendicitis. I'll leave the diagnosis of how do you determine if it's appendicitis. It involves a glove. And these 3 surgeons who, they're on ship, each one. Finally, at the 3rd doctor, I'm like, hey, can you ask the other 2 their opinion before you. Anyway, so I was flown off the ship, and they got an IV in me, and I have to go. I have to go. It was a 45-minute flight off the flight deck to San Diego. So finally we land. I'm like, oh, thank God, because I really have to go. They taxi down the longest runway in the world. The ambulance people come up. I'm like, hey, I gotta go. You got something? The guy goes, yeah. He brings me that little plastic bottle. I had pee so bad it shot out, splat all over his face and chest. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. So, anyways, I get into surgery, and I had my appendix taken out. So technically, did I lose that fight? So, anyways, the next morning, I'm in a squad bay with other Marines, sailors, and veterans, and it's like a movie where the group of doctors go to each bed. Okay, this is so and so, and this doctor, this surgeon, Navy guy, I believe his name's Thomas Madrano. He comes up and he goes, "Oh, this is Losano, appendicitis," and he starts, feeling like around the wound, and I'm like, I just had surgery. Then he touches the incision. I went up to punch him in the face. Of course, other people held me down, and I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Of course, he's an officer. I could have you up on charges. I'm like, what the fuck is your problem? Why would you fucking do that? I'm really laying into it. He goes, oh, yeah, Marine? I'll fix you. You want convalescent leave? Well, too bad. You're here for a month. And I go, yeah, whatever. He walks away. I'm like, I have no idea what convalescent leave is. Well, what convalescent leave is, you get to go home for a month for free. So this other doctor comes over and goes, hey, listen, you really pissed him off, but let me tell you something. Reschedule an appointment with another doctor next week, and they'll give you your convalescent leave back. It'd be only 3 weeks, but it's 3 weeks, and you'll have Thanksgiving. I'm like, all right. So now I understand. I'm like, holy shit, I could have went home all this time. So I made the appointment, this and that, in that 1 week time. I don't know who had an appendicitis, but when you have that, you walk around like hunched over. You can't. It's a horrific surgery. So I have to walk to Chow. Chow was like, this hospital is huge. It seemed like it was a quarter of a mile. So I get down to Chow, and the food was fucking horrible. And all of a sudden, these 3 Navy guys, these corpsmen, who was supposed to be helping us, starts making fun of me. And I'm like, who the hell are you guys? Do I know you guys? They're like, oh, what's wrong with you? Oh, poor baby. I'm like, I'm going to kill you guys. When I'm better, you're dead. Oh, okay. It got so bad that I had to skip Chow at one time. So I went back to my squad bay, and I sat down on the rack, the bed, and this fucking Marine comes by, and he's like, hey, how's everyone doing? He's all cheerful, you know what I mean? And, he comes to me and goes, hey, what can I do for you? I'm like, you can't fucking do nothing for me. And he's like, oh, what's your problem? So I told him about the 3 guys down at the cafeteria. He's like, all right, so 5 o'clock, you're going to go to evening chow, right? I'm like, well, yeah. He goes, well, I'll go with you, and I'll take care of your problem. I'm like, all right. 5 o'clock rolls around. No, nowhere to fucking be seen. No. So I looked around and I go, hey, anyone seen that guy Roscoe? They're like, yeah, it's Friday night. He's out in San Diego. I'm like, well, motherfucker. So I limped down to Chow. Not only did these 3 guys harass me, they fucking sat down with me this time. So now I'm thinking, I'm going to punch one of them. I'm going to rip my stitches in my gut, but it's going to be worth it because at least I'll get one of them. So right before I start doing that stupid move, all of a sudden I hear, hey, Losano, are these the 3 guys that are giving you problems? And I'm like, I turned, and there's Roscoe with 9 other Marines, full camouflage uniforms. And Roscoe really fucking laid it into him. These corpsmen, I don't want to be racist, but they were black, and Roscoe had some words for them. I mean, even I was scared. And these Marines, I mean, they were that close to fucking killing these guys. So I looked over and go, Roscoe, thanks, man. No problem, Losano. I just didn't want to leave you hanging. I'm like, no. So I'm going to cut a lot of the story out. I ended up going home on the convalescent leave. I actually got home, and of all people to see, I see Tanya Emery. Me and her went to the football game. But I'm going to finish the story, though. Every time I saw that guy, Roscoe, I paid. One time I saw him in a barber shop. I'm like, hey, Roscoe. Yeah, it's Joe Losano. Paid for his haircut. So I seen him at the barber shop quite a few times. So, and he always smiled because he knew I was going to pay. Well, the best part was I was in San Clemente. I walk in with my friend Joe Palumbo. I look over, and there's Roscoe on a date. And I start walking over, and Roscoe sees me, and he's like, he just, the smile on his face, because he knows. So I go up and I go, hey, Roscoe, who's the lucky lady? And she was beautiful. Oh, Joe, this is so-and-so. I'm like, hey, you're the best guy in the world. And I go, waitress, come here. So the waitress comes over. I give her $100 bill, and I go, listen, take care of these people. The rest of that is yours. And Roscoe's like, Losano. I'm like, hey, I'm telling you, it's rare, but you helped me out. I'll never forget it. So that was about it. End of the story. There's more to it. There was an earthquake during the time I was there. And, yeah, whatever. Stupid cat. What do you want? What do you want? Look at that tongue. All the time. It's like a snake. And, but anyways, yeah, that guy Roscoe, if I ever hit it big, I'll find that guy. I'll give him $1 million. All right. So that's the story for tonight.